All right, in this lesson, we're going to take a look at the old bluegrass standard, Shady Grove. I've got this broken up into a guitar part and a mandolin part. So each one of them, in true bluegrass fashion, kind of plays the instrumental melody and plays it in a unison. And then each one of them takes a solo, and then each one of them plays a rhythm part while the other one is taking a solo or while somebody's singing. This is a vocal tune, so it's got vocal verses, but then it's got that instrumental refrain that keeps coming back around, and that's a great place to learn bluegrass vocabulary. Is any of these old fiddle tunes or old melodies? They're just a fantastic way to get this type of music under your fingers, and it's a great place to start with your solos. If any of your solos are basically just that instrumental melody played with a little bit of your own flair, then you're on the right path. So again, we got a guitar part, we got a mandolin part, and each one of them is going to have the melody, it's going to have a solo, and it's going to have a rhythm part.
Shady Grove, sweet as brandy wine. There ain't no girl in this whole world that's prettier than mine. Shady Grove, my little love, Shady Grove, I say. Shady Grove, my little love, I'm bound to go away.
Okay, so here's the chord changes for Shady Grove. There's really only 3 chords in this, so I'm going to show you how to play each chord, and then I'll show you how to put them together to make the song. So we start with a D minor. So with any of this bluegrass stuff, there's a way to play a D minor down here with open strings, but for most bluegrass, the sound of kind of Bill Monroe bluegrass rhythmic chops is kind of this closed position, real snappy thing. So you want to be really harsh with your right hand. Remember, this is primarily an acoustic form of music, so you really want to cut through the band. And you can really think of the mandolin as the snare drum. It's given that backbeat, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're on the 2 and 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So think of it as a snare crack. You're the one really giving that backbeat. It's less important that the tones, the pitches actually come through. You really just want to snap. Just like that. So just rather than thinking of these as individual strings, you can kind of think of them as just one big string that you're just slashing through. Okay, so the first chord is a D minor. So you're going to set up a bar on the 7th fret with your first finger. So you lay your first finger across the 7th fret. You're really only going for the 3rd string and the 4th string, so you don't need to put pressure on the 1st and 2nd string. Okay, here's the instrumental melody for Shady Grove. I'm going to play it slowly, and then I'll teach you how to do it, and then we'll work it up to tempo. So here it is slowly. Here it is again, slow. Okay, so it's basically the same thing twice, and then the second time you have a little bit of a, kind of just hanging out on the same note and the same chord at the end and let it breathe before the vocals come in. the beginning of the melody, so what you want to do is you're going to start with your third finger on the 5th fret of the 4th string. This is just like guitar where you number the strings from the bottom up. So 1st string, 2nd string, 3rd string, 4th string. So 3rd finger of your left hand goes on the 5th fret of the 4th string, and you're going to slide up to the 7th fret. And you're going to play it with a downstroke on your right hand. So, and then you get the upstroke of the unison note, actually, it's that D. You get a D here, and then the open D string, the 3rd string. So you slide from the 5th to the 7th with a downstroke, and then you play the open D with an upstroke, and then you do that again. You slide from the 5th to the 7th, and then you play the 3rd string open. Now you're going to play the 3rd string open again with a downstroke, now to the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. Now back to the open 3rd string. Now to the, your 2nd finger goes to the 4th fret of the 4th string. Now your 3rd finger goes to the 5th fret of the 4th string. Now you're going to do that same slide move. So you're going to slide from the 5th fret to the 7th fret of the 4th string with a downstroke. Then you're going to play the open 3rd string with an upstroke. Now you're going to play the 3rd string again. Now the 2nd fret, 3rd fret of the 3rd string. Now the 5th fret of the 3rd string with your 3rd finger. Now you're going to slide from the 5th fret to the 7th fret of the 3rd string. Now you're going to play the open 2nd string with an upstroke. You know, just holding down a D chord. So here's a D. I've got my open 4th string. I've got my 1st finger on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string. I've got my 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 2nd string. So there's my D chord. You can think of it as, so think of this as bass and mandolin. So the bass is going to be doing alternating between the root and the 5th, just below it. And then the mandolin is going to be stabbing on beats 2 and 4 between the bass notes. So here's the bass. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here's the mandolin. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So as the guitar player, you can put both of those things together. So here it is slowly. So you're playing both the bass part and the backbeat part, the mandolin. So you want to keep that going no matter what chord you're playing. You want to be alternating between the bass notes, the root, and the 5th. Or it doesn't always have to be the 5th, but that's a safe bet. So we've only got 3 chords in this song. We've got a D, which I just showed you. We've got a C major. So just your regular old C chord. You've got your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string. You've got your 2nd finger on the 2nd fret of the 4th string. You've got your open 3rd string, 1st finger, 1st fret, 2nd string. Now an open 1st string. Now you can alternate between the root, your 3rd finger on the 3rd fret of the 5th string, and you can play the 3rd fret of the 6th string. So this is the bass on C major. And then you just add the backbeat on top of that. Now back to the D minor. C major. Again, you can really hear how it's kind of a quote of the original melody. So here's the, let me show you. Here's the original melody. And here's the first riff of the solo. It's really close. It's just kind of a slight change from the original thing. Okay, so here's that riff slowly. One more time. Okay. That brings us to the second riff. Let me play the whole thing slowly, and then we'll talk about it. So here it is. Okay, so there's a lot of notes in this and a lot of pull-offs. You got to be kind of particular about when you're pulling off to make it all fall under the fingers right. So here it is slowly again, a little bit faster. And you land at the beginning of the third riff, but we'll get there. So start with your first finger on the first fret of the second string and pull off to the open second, Start with your first finger on the first fret of the second string and pull off to the open second string. Now land with your second finger on the second fret of the third string. Now go back to the first fret of the second string and pull off to the open string. Land on the second fret of the second string. Second fret of the third string and pull off to the open third string. Play the second string open again. Land on the second fret of the third string. Pull off to the open third string. Land with your third finger on the third fret of the fourth string. Now back to the second fret of the third string. Pull off to the open third string. Land with your third finger on the third fret of the fourth string. Go down to the second fret of the fourth string. Play the third string open. Pull off from the third fret to the second fret of the fourth string. Now back to play the open fourth string. Now go back to the third fret of the fourth string. Now to the second fret of the fourth string. Pull off to the open fourth string. Land with your third finger on the third fret of the fifth string. Play the open fifth string. Now slide your third finger from the third to the fifth fret of the fifth string.